I want to share two things in particular. One, that yes, it's true that I have both sides within myself. There's the dark side and the light side. And at this moment, I accept both of them as being part of the inner being. But my journey is one in which what I'm trying to do is to move further and further in the direction of the light, so that the light is that which shines and helps me and others. And I know that there is that dark side, but what I would like for myself is that I'm able to be the one who's rising above that and allowing the light to shine, and the dark will be taken care of. In a sense, there's a very interesting concept that says that um, darkness doesn't actually have an identity. Light is what you can explore and identify. And as you bring in the light, the darkness is dispelled. Nobody studies the darkness, we all study the light. And I think it was Einstein who mentioned it. I don't think he invented that idea, but I think he mentioned it categorically. And so the more I focus on the light, the less the darkness will have an existence in reality in my own life. And so today I accept it, but as I continue to increase the light, the darkness will disappear and there will be only the light. And then the other question is about retreats or being where I need to be and facing things. I believe that completely. I know that age 19, when I discovered this inner world and I was fascinated by it, and I thought I would like to stay on top of the mountain, literally, physically, in Mount Abu for the rest of my life. I was told, no, that's not the place for you. What you have to do is to go out there into the world and you'll be able to see yourself more, because sitting in a corner meditating, you don't really know what's going on inside. You're filling yourself with more love, more light, but it's when you're challenged on the field of action, whether it is in my workplace, in my family relationships, my social activity, wherever it is, I have a task to fulfill. It's in that field of action that I'm challenged. And then I know to what extent I've been able to connect with the light and be able to enhance that and raise it and use it in my life. And of course, then the whole question comes, well, how do I manage all of this? And I'd like to suggest one thing, that there are three different things that we can look at. And one is a subject of the self, the other is a subject of relationships, and the third is a subject of the task. And if I look at the self, then I can see what I need to do. I need more time for silence, because it's in silence that I can connect with the inner being and allow the light to be enhanced and to the voltage in a way to be increased. And so if I can begin the day with time for myself, it's not selfish, it's not rejecting my responsibilities, but it's making sure that I know what my priorities are and I give time, firstly, to recharge my own inner battery. We all have this wonderful little toy, the mobile phone, and it's very useful. 1,000 different uses now. And if I didn't charge that phone every night, then the next day when I need to use it, I won't have the power. It won't have the capacity. It's expensive, it's fancy, it's very clever. But if it's not charged, it's of no value at all. And so I remember to charge it every night so that it's ready for me to use the next day. Now, what about the inner being? Can I recharge the inner being? Yes, I can with silence. And I need to make time in my busy, busy life for this. And so, if I can set aside some time for silence for myself, especially first thing in the morning, and if you have family, then before the rest of the family wakes up, and if you're on your own, fine. But that also means throwing away my warm quilt as the winter approaches, but to be able to make time, be fresh, and sit and have an inner dialogue and experience the stillness and silence that lies within. It is there, just as the darkness is very relevant to this moment, and I can see it now, but equally, the peace, the love, the truth, that's also part of me. And so when I have that dialogue with myself, then I know that I can connect with the goodness and the beauty and the truth that is there within myself. And so making time for myself each morning is absolutely vital. And so if I can do that, then yes, the rest of the day I'll have the capacity to face all the situations that I need to face. If I don't recharge my battery, then because the influences of the world out there are negative, my reactions are more likely to be negative also. But if I've recharged my own inner battery, then even though the vibrations outside, the people out there, the circumstances, the situations are all dark and heavy, but the charged battery means I don't react, but rather I'm able to respond in a way that's appropriate, that can help others around me. But if I haven't recharged and increased my own inner capacity, we talk about capacity building, but real capacity building is to be able to reinforce the goodness within. And so when I've been able to do that, then my response will be one of light, one which is positive. The other might be in a mood of quarreling, and I'll be able to remain peaceful. And maybe that'll make them even more angry for a minute because they're hoping to provoke me and they're not able to provoke me. But at least my response is what I'm comfortable with. I don't have a reaction in which later I feel distressed and I have the thought, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. So what they're doing is wrong. But if what I do is also wrong, then we can't put it right. But if what they're doing is wrong, but I'm able to have a response which is right so that I'm true to myself, I'm not doing them a favor, but I'm doing what is right for me so that my own conscience supports me on this journey. Otherwise, a reaction and that reactivity of anger or upset, and I'm going against my own principles, and I don't want to do that. So I need that power internally to not be influenced by the wrong, but rather maybe at some time, if I stay on the path that is right, it'll make them stop and think. And maybe we can change things later on. I might not be able to change things instantly, but at least my response has been as it should be. And that'll leave an imprint in their memory. They won't forget it. When it comes to relationships, then in the give and take, what is it that's going on? Very often, negativity is sparking negativity. And so, for example, even with my immediate near and dear ones, my family, I would like to be able to give them time and love and care and attention and bring a little bit of joy and happiness into their lives by sharing something with them. But instead, if I haven't had that inner capacity and power, after my day's work is done, I'm snapping at them, I'm irritable with them, and I hate myself for it. I don't like it, but I can't stop it because I don't have capacity. And yet, if I've given myself the opportunity first thing in the morning to be able to recharge myself and build up my capacity, then through the day, I've managed with calm and peace. And yes, being able to give an appropriate response whenever a response is needed. I'm not talking about just being passive and just being a doormat and being trampled on, not at all. To have the courage, the insight, the capacity to be able to give an appropriate response that's going to make the other person think also. So I've done all of that, but it means that my inner peace hasn't been disturbed. And when it's time to give time to my family, I'm able to give them of myself with love and joy without bringing all the problems and the tensions and the pressures of the world outside into that relationship. Or even at work, for example, sometimes we put the task before relationships, and that becomes a problem. Because when it's a time for a task to be accomplished, I need everyone's support and cooperation. If the whole team isn't pulling their weight together, the task isn't going to get done. And getting everyone's support and cooperation happens if I've invested time and energy in relationships. I think everybody's learned that. This is why it's not only IQ that is important, it's EQ that's important. You've often seen people with high levels of intelligence, but they're not able to get the task done because they don't know about EQ, they don't know about emotional intelligence, they don't know about working with others. Maybe they only know how to be the boss, but they don't know how to win everybody's support and cooperation. So, whether it's at home or whether it's at work, if I'm recharged within, then I have the capacity to develop relationships in the right way. Then the task will get done also. Same thing at home. If I've created an atmosphere of love and respect, then the household isn't just going to be left to me to run, but the children will do their bit. They'll make their beds. My partner will do his bit and he'll help with the washing up or whatever, whatever. But everything runs with cooperation smoothly and in time. But the cooperation doesn't happen automatically. The cooperation behind the scene has happened because there's been love and respect invested in every individual. And as a result of that, then yes, the cooperation can happen. And most times, especially within the mechanical patriarchal world, it's always a task that's important. Got to get this done, got to get this done. Doesn't matter about people's feelings. Not true. If people's feelings are okay, the task is going to unfold very, very neatly and sweetly and efficiently in good time. Otherwise, it's not. It's going to get blockages and get stuck somewhere or another. So, this is why within that pyramid, the first, time for myself, the second, give priority to relationships and invest in relationships. And then the third, the task will happen very naturally and easily.